Yo, coming to you live from World Championship in San Jose. Welcome to the Living Legends podcast.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to yet another episode of the Living Legends podcast. I am Bill from the Spike Feeders. I will be hosting the episode today. This is going to be a really fun episode. We're going to be talking about Dynasty. And joining me to talk about Dynasty, we have Az from Go Again Gaming.
Hello, everybody. Hope everyone having a great day today. And it's Dynasty release day today, so everyone's going to be cracking lots of packs like bananas, like Cal says. So, Arachne's doing a little dance over there. I could see that.
Yeah, sneaking up.
As some people say, it is time to go bananas.
Yeah.
Yes, Kel from Red Zone Rogue is also joining us with the little Arachne fellow. Oh, and the Mask of Perdition. I want the Mask of Perdition.
I got a cold foil one too. Look at this. Oh, it's so good.
What?
Pretty good.
Yeah. I opened it in the stream yesterday. Hi, I'm Kel from the Red Zone Rogue. How's it going, everyone?
Nice.
Yes. So yeah, as we've mentioned, we are going to be talking about Dynasty because obviously it's the newest thing to talk about, the most exciting. We are actually, right after this is done filming, we're going to be starting up a stream where Kel and I are going to be opening some more booster boxes of Dynasty, and I'm very excited for that. But
you both doing a case each?
I believe so, yeah.
I do have a full sealed case, just kind of like
yes,
right over there.
I do as well.
Oh, there we go. Nice. Look at that. Knock someone out with that.
By the time you all watch this episode, the stream has already concluded. You can go back and watch it and see if we got some awesome stuff. See Bill pull the Fabled, and me, this is probably my no legendary case. I don't know. We'll see.
The worst part if I pull a Fabled is I'm planning on making a full, like a max rarity Emperor deck. I will need maximum copies of Fabled Command and Conquer.
That's gonna be incredibly expensive because that means you need the Marvel Emperor.
I need the Marvel Emperor. I need the Marvel Command and Conquerors. Thankfully, I already have foil E-Strikes and a bunch of other good red cards, but it's still going to be tough.
I know we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, but you should join in if we can swing it. I want to do a UPF game every single month streamed. You should join in the stream with your Marvel.
Oh yeah,
Marvel
when he's assembled it.
If I can even get it together.
It's like collecting the Infinity Stones. Anyway, let's go.
So up until that point, when we start the stream later in the past, for everybody who's listening to this now, we are going to be talking about our top 5 favorite Dynasty cards each. These are not in any particular order. I think what we're going to do, just to make it so that one person isn't talking for just an obscene amount of time at once, I think what we should do is probably go with one card and then go to another person. They'll talk about their card, and we just kind of switch off like that.
Sounds good.
It'll feel a little bit more fair. But yeah, so obviously picking 5 cards even from this set is kind of tough. Like I don't know about you guys, but I specifically picked 5 cards that either I really like just from a personal standpoint, or I like from a mechanical standpoint, like it's doing something new or something exciting, or it's just like well designed. So many cards in this set are really well designed. I just think that they're neat in some nebulous way.
Combination of those things, like you say, mechanics, either whether it speaks to us as the characters that we like, or even the art. In some cases, I'm sure we've all selected a card that we like the art of. As well, so
it was really hard for me to not pick 5 assassin cards, so I didn't. I did not pick 5 assassin cards because I was like, that would be the easiest thing. It would just be like, I put in some Majestic, put in weapons, this is good. But I've made it varied, so yeah.
Literally, all you would have to do is just go to Fabrary and just pick the first 5 assassin cards and be like, yeah, I like all of these.
Just put all the
viable as well.
Pick all the Majestic ones, pick the weapon, pick the 2 equipment, good to go. Wait, that's 6. Yeah, there you go.
And for people listening to this now in the future as well, I've just been confirmed before this the record button was clicked that all the assassin cards block for 3. I just did not know that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy. I like how assassin is designed because it does kind of give you the incentive to block. Like you're not necessarily looking to be super aggressive. You can be a little bit slower and more methodical, like an assassin would be. Very cool. I like that.
I'm going to be talking about Assassin a lot today, so buckle up. Buckle up.
Buckle it up.
Yep.
So these, again, are in no particular order, just 5 cards that we liked in some capacity. And again, this isn't like top 5 strongest cards. Just personally, we just wanted to talk about Dynasty because the set is really, really cool.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be kicking us off with a non-assassin card as much as we were talking about assassin cards. The first one that I want to talk about today, I want to shed the spotlight on, is Tiger Swipe, the Ninja Majestic that sort of puts together the whole Crouching Tiger strategy. It's the payoff. It's the spring tidings of Kitty Katsu. I love the name of that deck.
I should mention for audio listeners, we will be reading out the entire card effects. For visual viewers, we'll have the images up. So if you are listening to this and you're like, oh, I wish I could see it, then go check out the VOD, and there will be images of the cards as well. So just housekeeping. Yeah.
But yeah, of course, we will also be reading these just for posterity.
Yeah.
So Tiger Swipe is the Ninja Majestic attack action. It pitches for red, costs 0, attacks for 2, and blocks for 3. And it has combo. If Crouching Tiger was the last attack this combat chain, it has +2. This has +2 attack, go again. And when this hits, create X Crouching Tigers in your banish zone, where X is the number of Crouching Tigers you control. You may play them this turn. The reason that I like this so much is the same reason I loved Spring Tidings, because if you play 2 of these, they compound on each other, and it is terrifying.
I'll say, I love any card with X as a variable, to be honest.
Yes. Yeah, where you can actually, like, you know, it's like, okay, how high can I get this number?
That's super cool.
But yeah, like for anybody who listened to the set review I did with Tommy Fresh when I was talking about this card, this is like a new sort of ninja strategy that's self-contained within this set, which I actually really like. It doesn't necessarily add itself to an existing strategy, so they don't have to worry about maybe pushing something over the line. It sort of works within itself, and I think it's nicely designed. And also, it's kind of scary because I'm pretty sure that this deck, on a turn where it goes off, will probably hit like Chainlink 20, pretty easily.
Oh yeah, and the first thing I saw or thought of is what is it? Is it Salt the Wound? The one that gets like bigger every single time a thing hits?
0/0 for 5, isn't it? Basically, yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be so much bigger.
It's gonna be more than that because it's whenever something hits. I think you're thinking of Lava Burst, which is also a good card.
Lava Burst is good.
But Salt the Wound gets +1 attack for each attack that has hit this combat chain.
Yeah.
And with all of the Crouching Tigers you can make, it could potentially be a 0 for 30. I don't know.
I await the screenshots of people who are like, "This is a Salt the Wound for 23." Like,
oh wow, yeah,
it's gross.
I was thinking.
Yeah, so that was the first card I wanted to talk about today because it's really cool. It's really fun.
And if I'm missing something here as well with regards to the Crouching Tigers, obviously on the printed card they come in for nothing. There's no attack, right? There's zero attacks. So you have to buff them all for them to hit as well, right?
Yeah. Thankfully, there are a few ways to do that. Like, there's also the card Roar of the Tiger, which is another Majestic, which it gives you a Crouching Tiger and gives all Crouching Tigers you control plus one attack until end of turn. Okay. And then you could also potentially, in some universe, you could have used Stubby Hammers to the same effect, which would have been even grosser.
People were like,
and also Art of War works.
Yeah, Art of War is very good. Yeah. Because
right.
Art of War is exceptionally good because if you get the Crouching Tigers in hand rather than like in your banish zone, you could banish the Crouching Tigers from your hand to activate Art of War to draw 2 cards. It's a spicy meatball. I look forward to getting absolutely dumpstered by Crouching Tigers in UPF where Stubby Hammers is not banned. So
yeah, brilliant.
Yeah. So I just love Tiger Swipe. I do like the Crouching Tiger suite just in general. I think the deck is really, really cool. So I'm looking forward to trying it out. But to pass it over to somebody, how about your alphabetical?
Yeah. Cool. So surprisingly, the cards in my list are a lot different than what people are probably expecting. But people that know me know that I love a good speculation. I love a good design space. I love a good unique thing. And that's basically what a lot of the cards on my list will entail. And the first one of these is a warrior action called Cleave.
Ooh.
So this is a majestic warrior action. So it costs 1 to play, blocks for 3, pitches for red. It says your next axe attack, obviously, so this plays into the battle axe. This turn gains +4, so obviously it achieves that the battle axe breakpoint that you need for it being over 6 power. And it says when this hits a hero or ally, you may deal that much damage to another ally controlled by the same hero. So this goes into what we were sort of saying in a previous Living Legends podcast with the whole Guan Yu thing, the massive halberd, sweeping permanents off of the board. And I like the design space here because if allies become a prevalent factor, more heroes and classes are going to need things like this. I was hoping for like a ranger volley sort of thing where you're shooting loads of arrows into a load of Ashwings that then all die or something.
Like a multi-shot.
Yeah, or like an explosive shot or something like that. Cool. So it's something like that. But yeah, I love the design space here, and it's obviously actively preying upon the allies, which are obviously prevalent in Dromai decks at the moment. So the more heroes and the more things, more cards that can target those things in the meta means that they might clear the path for other heroes that can't deal with that sort of thing, which is what I like.
Yeah,
so
for sure. I think Cleave's really good at killing big dragons too, because like you know, the way the ally mechanic works, you can't block for your ally. So if you come on in with the big cleave, you can kill like two of the legendary dragons at the same time. Because like if you're coming in with the axe, like the new majestic axe, this is minimum 7 damage, so that straight up kills 2 of them.
And it's overpowered as well, right? So it's even harder to block.
Oh yeah, so I was gonna say that
even
too.
if you're hitting face, it still goes through for the most part.
Cleave is the card that I think I was like looking for when we were talking about that axe like a couple weeks ago, because we were like, oh, there's not really a lot of like +4s because you need at least +4 to give it that the overpower mechanic, and so this is +4, so that immediately gives that axe the overpower because it needs more than double its base attack, and the base attack is 3. So pretty good.
Something that I just appreciate about Cleave is it's not even really like a sideboard card. I think if you're playing axes, this can just be a main board card because even if you're not against allies, it's still a +4 for 1.
Yeah,
like that's a good
rate. Yeah. And if you're playing the axe as well, you're turning on the evasion, which the Merciless Battle Axe wants at least. So yeah, pretty good. If you got 5 card hands, you could play the 1 cost card, pitching another cost card. You could then swing with a blue and then still have maybe a defense react in your arsenal, which can then push the Cleave over the top even more potentially. So you could sweep her. I said, as Cal said, a big dragon with that, which is nice. But yeah, just thought I'd mention that one. I know it's off the cuff for me, but I love the space that it's in. At the moment.
Agreed. Very cool card.
Yeah.
All right. And how about you, Cal? What's your first card?
Okay, spoil for choice here. I think I have one that I save for last, and then a couple others. Okay, I'll talk about one that we were actually talking about off camera before we hit record. It's going to be Shred, and it's actually the lowest rarity card that I'm going to talk about today. First of all, it has some of the best art in the set. It's absolutely okay. Let me put it this way: it is some of the ballsiest art that I've ever seen on a card game. It is super gory. It looks like a 1980s, 1990s horror film poster. Like you could literally take the name Shred and then move it down right below the art and make it like all bloody looking, and boom, you have a movie poster.
So it is absolutely like abominable, and I mean that in the best possible way.
And the art is
Freddy Krueger.
Exactly. Nightmare on Elm Street. I think one of my favorite parts about this is the same artist. So it's Henrik Lidner, same artist that did Shred. Also did the legendary Bolton card. It's like really beautiful artwork. It's super pretty, beautiful. And then you have Shred, which is like absolutely like Bill said, like abominable.
Henrik has range.
The range is like, it's super good. Scott, let's talk about the card. Let's talk about the actual card. So it is a 0 cost assassin attack reaction, and it blocks for 3. The card that I'm going to show up here in particular is the blue version because I think it's my favorite version of it. But I'll tell you what all of the versions do. It says, target card defending an assassin attack gets -2 defense this combat chain. That's for the blue version. The yellow version is -3, and the red version is -4. So at the red version, the base, a 0 for like a -4, or you can kind of see it as like a +4 attack, sort of. 0 for 4 is like insanely good rate. Like, I can't think of many or any 0 for 4s other than like attack action cards, right? Like, I can't think of any reactions or anything good.
And especially something that doesn't really have like a qualifier to it. Like, it doesn't have a hoop that you really have to jump through. They just have to be defending one of your attacks.
Yeah, it has to be an assassin card. So you have to be attacking with an assassin card. So you can't do this on if you're attacking with an E-strike or something like that. But
yeah,
still, I mean, you're playing assassin. You're going to be attacking with a lot of assassin cards. What I really, really love about this, and we were talking, like I said, we were talking about this before we went live, is this card reminds me a little bit of Iron Song Devotion. Iron Song Response. Reminds me of Iron Song Response. So Iron Song Response is a 0-cost attack reaction. It does nothing if your opponent hasn't defended with a card from their hand, but if they have, it activates the reprise and gets a +3 for the red version. This one also does nothing if they don't block. So it doesn't actually pump up the damage of your attack unless they actually actively block with it. If they're not blocking anyway, that's good for you. You get your nice on-hit effects. But I really, really love the design space here. Like, where it does more damage, or it actually does something, only if they're actually actively defending. I also really like that it absolutely dumpsters temper cards, or cards with the temper mechanic. So the way this works, and this is 100% true, if they block with a card and a piece of equipment that has temper on it, and you shred it down to 0, that temper card is destroyed when the combat chain closes. So even the blue one, this is why I really like the blue one. So if your opponent blocks with something like a flame scale furnace, and you shred them with a blue one, it will destroy that flame scale furnace. And that's so good.
It's mental.
It's so dirty. And like, when I first saw somebody talking about that, I was like, there's no way that that's how that works. And then they posted the release notes, and in the release notes, it's like, yeah, if you do this on a temper thing, it dies. And I was like, wow.
It's crazy. Like, as you say, the blue one as well. The blue one does the -2, right? And I've just typed in temper, and every single temper equipment is 2 per defense.
Yeah.
So the blue one destroys all of them. So that tells all of the players that you're playing against that's running a temper equipment, I'm not going to block with my equipment because he's just going to blow it up if he's an assassin. Yeah. So it gives them that decision there and then that the blue version of your card can still screw them over big time.
It gets even better too, because I was building assassin decks and thinking about like potential breakpoints in my attacks, because I really want the attacks to hit for multiple reasons, to trigger my equipment, but also to trigger my my on-hit effects, right? So I can fulfill the contracts. Shred on a blue assassin card that's just coming in for 2, like any one of the 0 for 2. Shred is an amazing breakpoint on it, because that is an effective 4. So if they're blocking with just a single card, you know, on one of your blue attacks, you can shred them and still get a point of damage through.
It's pretty good.
I really love it, and it blocks for 3. They'll block for 3.
Blue block 3. It's brilliant.
I love this card so much. So that's my little spiel on Shred. It's awesome. I love the design space. I love the fact that it's so assassiny. Like, it doesn't pump up your damage. It just makes them weaker.
Weakens their defenses.
It like gets through the defenses, which is exactly what an assassin should do.
So. Like, that's exactly what I thought about it when I first saw it. It tells you how assassins want to do things, how they want to do their game plan. They don't want to rush you down with a bunch of damage. Like, they are an aggro deck, but it's not about the damage. It's about the like accumulation of basically debuffs on your opponent. By getting rid of a bunch of their cards and then you getting silver for it. Like, it's really cool. It's a really interesting design space for an attack reaction that allows you to hit but doesn't buff the damage by a lot. It's a really, really elegant way to do that, I think. Really nicely implemented.
Also, I can't wait to red shred onto a carrion husk. Just make it block for 2. Oh yeah,
block for 2.
Yeah,
just red shred. There we go.
Red shred.
Red shred.
Such a below rate equipment.
Yeah. Get wrecked, carrion husk. Get out of here.
Oh man, that would hurt. Yeah, so to keep the assassin talk going, my next card that I'm going to be talking about actually is an assassin card this time. I would like to shed a spotlight. I mean, it's not super necessary because it was such a big reveal when it did happen, but regicide, which, as you may or may not know, is the event that like basically made Dynasty what it is. Because we were talking about, we see the Emperor, we see his whole thing, and we were seeing a bunch of like just stuff around the Emperor, the Yoji and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, by the way, we're introducing a new hero and he's murdering the guy that we showed you earlier.
He's just straight up. Yeah.
Straight with like the gnarliest, like multi-bladed, like it's crazy. I don't even know how to parse that image in my mind. So it's really cool.
If you look really closely at it, in one hand Arachne's holding a dagger, in the other it's literally the Emperor's crown. It's
his crown.
It's that big crown that you can get. Oh, look, there you go.
Yeah, it is the Crown of Dominion. That's true. Or not Crown of Dominion.
Yeah, and it's all bloody too, so he literally killed the Emperor with his own crown.
Yeah, I thought that I didn't look at it that closely, to be completely honest with you, but I thought that was like a weapon, like it was like a scythe with a bunch of different things. And to be fair, the crown is, I think, more metal. Like the fact that he murdered him with his own pointy ass crown.
Yeah,
it's like turned into a game of Cluedo, like he's murdered the Emperor with a crown, sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But where did he murder?
Where? In the throne room. Yeah, brilliant.
Anyway, so regicide, for those of you who don't know, after we just explained the art in full detail, it is an assassin attack action. It pitches for 3, costs 0, attacks for 3, and blocks for 3. So like all really good things, honestly. But what does it do? It's a legendary Arachne specialization, so you can only run one of them. And realistically, if this is doing what it needs to, you only need one. When this hits a royal hero, they lose the game. When the combat chain closes, you lose the game. And regicide can't be defended by cards with the same name as cards in the defending hero's banished zone. So, you're looking at this card, you're like, that's a really, really huge downside. If your opponent isn't royal, then it just comes in for 3, and if it doesn't kill them, then they lose the game. Like, why would you want to play this card? I think the most important part of this card is the last line of text. The evasion that this thing can get, especially if you like wait till second cycle, which I feel like Arachne decks are going to want to do, or at least like make the game go a little bit longer. This could be the 3 points of damage that you need to win the game in like a lock, when both players are at sub 5 life and you're just fully blocking whatever. If you've banished half of your opponent's deck, there could be zero options for them to block this card. So it just becomes a guaranteed 3 damage that you could Razor Reflex if you wanted to.
Oh yeah.
I think that's what Brian Gottlieb was saying, Cal, in the hotel lobby. He was literally saying this is an unblockable card.
Yeah.
Really. If you look at it as like unblockable card that cannot be defended at all for 3, costs nothing. This could simply win you the game, whether it says you lose on it or not.
Yeah.
Towards the end.
I would like to point out that it does not say that the damage cannot be prevented. So if they are sandbagging an Oasis Respite, you might just kill yourself. Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
But I do think that that's like a relevant thing because this is such a feast or famine card. Like it is the definition of feast or famine. You either win or you lose when you play this card.
Yeah.
So it is up to you to pick your spot, to really like wait and be methodical about it, which again is just so assassin, like so flavor.
Yeah.
That's the umami.
Umami.
Yeah. Bill, did you see the release notes on regicide?
I don't believe I did.
Oh, okay. So at the bottom of the release notes on the rules for regicide, it just says a little bullet, and it says, "If you come at the king, you best not miss."
Yeah.
It literally says that in the official release notes for regicide.
Rightly so.
Also, that's so accurate to just what this is, because like if you miss the king, then you're in his palace and surrounded by his guards and whatever. So like it is just so fully flavorful. It's a really cool card, and it's a card that I think you play in every Arachne deck, because if you can't attack with it, or if you don't feel like you can attack with it, it still pitches for 3 and it blocks for 3. Like it's just a totally solid card.
I've been thinking a lot about building a lot of different Arachne decks and stuff. 3 pitch is actually, I mean, obviously it's really good, but it's like super good because that lets you attack with your weapon, which costs 2 to attack with, and then follow up with any of the 1-drop assassin attack cards, which is most of them cost 0 or 1. So you can immediately, come in for 1 with the weapon, and then come in for like 5 with a 1-drop. So
so 3 is just like super solid. I think that this card just gets played in every Arachne deck. It's just a free auto include because even if you're not attacking with it, it's just good. Just a really well designed card. Huge fan. I could fanboy about this card forever.
It's sweet.
Well, it's historic as well. Very historic in regards to like the World's Weekend and stuff. James White was giving out regicide playmats. It's like a symbol towards this, this whole time. So it's brilliant.
100%.
Just so cool. But anyway, what is your next card?
So it's not going to be as grandiose as that, but it's going to be cool nonetheless. This is called Visit the Imperial Forge. So again, another warrior card. What the going on? But again, I like. Who is this guy? Where's he gone? What's happened to the actual Where is he? Anyway, again, I like to speak about speculations, ideas, new flavors, new mechanics, and that's what my list is sort of majorly sort of made up of. So this is called Visit the Imperial Forge. I'm going to speak about the red version, but they all do similar things. Got this bloody thing in the way. So it's a 0 cost action. Blocks for 3. Comes in all pitch values, red, yellow, or blue. And it says sword and dagger attacks have piercing 3, 2, or 1, depending on the pitch value, obviously. And it has go again. So another mechanic that we haven't seen before, and that's piercing. So similar to Shred in a sense where it worries about your equipment. Well, actually, no, Shred said any card, so that's obviously better. But this one says if it's defended by an equipment, it has an extra buff. So I do like this new design space where it's saying if you defend with this card, your opponent's card is going to get a buff. So it incentivizes you not to block with equipment because like Shred, you can just destroy the temper. With this, if you block with your fridge per se, your attacks get buffed. So you're getting through the armor more, which I think is like a recurring thing in this set. It cares about armor and all that sort of thing. So I do love this mechanic, and also it appears on Drill Shot as well, I believe, one of the new Ranger arrows.
Yep.
It's
on the assassin weapons too.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay. There. So it's on the Spider's Bites as well. Just wanted to point out the piercing mechanic is I just love all these new little keywords and little ways you can build your deck and how you can get round your opponent's cards in different ways. So that's just one of the cards that came up that might not necessarily people might associate me with visiting a blacksmith.
I think what's really cool about the Visit the Imperial Forge too is that it's all sword and dagger attacks for the whole turn get that buff, not just the next one. So if you're going really wide, maybe with a bunch of dagger attacks or like a bunch of times with Kasai or whatever, it pumps them all up, which is good. Makes the card better.
There's a common as well, so you can play it in Clash and Commoner. So you can pump up all those little itty bitty attacks and go wide. But that's my card for that slot.
Something that I also sort of clocked this card as when I was doing my set review again with Tommy Fresh was I think that giving your attacks piercing, especially in Warrior, is a really interesting way to kind of make your opponent play into Reprise. Because it's like, okay, I don't want to block with my equipment, but I want to block this, so I block with my weapon, with something from my hand, and then you're like, haha, Iron Song response, and then it's like, okay, well, I don't want to play into Reprise, so I have to block with my equipment. It's like, okay, well, I have piercing, so
haha, route.
Yeah. So I agree though. I really like Visit the Imperial Forge. I think it's a really cool card.
And I think it could be cool for PvE too. I know it's pure speculation, but who knows? Maybe the PvE
sword
stuff
and dagger attacks. Yeah, so maybe all of your team's dagger attacks to get them. Yeah.
Super
so
cool.
if you're sharing a combined turn, it says this turn, maybe all of your parties could get all of this stuff. Yeah, if you're sharing a turn.
Powerful.
This just makes you want to play warrior.
Yeah, man.
We'll see.
Yeah, and next up, Kel, what is your next card?
All right, so I do have more assassin cards, but I'll mix it up now. Well, we'll talk about something else. This is a card that I didn't even see spoiled, and the first time I saw it was actually like pulling it from a booster pack. And I was like, what is this? It's a Guardian card called Never Yield. So it's a majestic.
Right.
It's a Guardian action aura. It's got 3s all around. So it's a blue pitch, so pitches for 3, costs 3, blocks for 3. And it's a really, really interesting card, and I can't think of another card that has like this much value on it. And for me, it just screams like UPF and PvE and just fun, janky stuff. Maybe even 1v1. But so what it does is at the start of your turn, destroy Never Yield. Then, if you have no cards in hand, draw a card. If you have less life than all other heroes, gain 2 life. If you control less equipment than all other heroes, remove a -1 defense counter from an equipment you control. If all of those are true, you get a draw card, you gain 2 life, and you get to kind of pump up one of your pieces of equipment, which is super, super cool, especially if you're using various shields. You know, being able to block again with your shield is super cool. I really love this for like multiplayer formats, and I think this could be super cool for a like a group hug style deck for UPF, like for Yoji deck, for example, where you're blocking a lot, you're taking a lot of damage because you're eating other people's damage, and then you can recoup a lot of that with Never Yield. I really like the design space of this card, and I love how unique it is. So yeah, that is my pick. I just love weird, fun stuff like this.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I definitely agree because it also sort of lets you. This is the ultimate card that lets you fully block as a Guardian.
Yeah.
Because if you fully block, then you'll have no cards in hand, and your opponent has just drawn up, so you'll be able to draw a card, and you can use it to bonk with your hammer or something. And then, it just sort of like lets you have it lets you never yield. You just have one turn where you're able to kind of be super defensive, but you're not totally on the back foot. You still have something that you can do. You gain a benefit from that. So yeah, again, good choice. Really, really cool card.
Yeah,
nice.
I like it a lot.
My next one is a personal pick. I think objectively, this card is really cool. And I think a lot of people are impressed by it. And I was actually, when I was watching one of your box opening videos, Kel, you pulled this card and you evaluated it like almost immediately on the 2 sides of like what this card is going to be used for. The card I'm talking about, of course, is an illusionist attack action. It's the majestic attack action.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
One of the 2. Phantasmal Symbiosis.
Yeah.
So when I was opening some packs with my partner, and she ended up opening the card, and I was like, oh yeah, like I really like this card. And she was reading it, and she saw the word symbiosis, and she was like, Venom?
Oh yeah.
And I was like, kind of. But anyway, so this is, as I said, an illusionist attack action, pitches for 2. So it's a yellow, costs 1, attacks for 6, and blocks for 3. It has Phantasm, and it also has, when this attacks, name a card. Cards with that name are illusionist until end of turn. And just because Kel has already done it in a video online, the 2 reasons why this card is really cool is, 1, I think maybe the intended design of the card is if you know that your opponent has like a card that will pop your Phantasm attacks, you can name their card. That card becomes illusionist, and then it doesn't become a popper anymore because it's only non-illusionist cards that can pop Phantasm cards.
Yeah.
So it acts as like kind of an aggressive card in that way, where you can take away your opponent's efficient blocking option, which I think is really neat. The thing to me that makes this exciting is, and you guys have heard me say this forever, my aggro prism deck.
Oh, here we
go. You can name any card, and then it becomes illusionist, which then you'll have go again from Luminaris as long as you have a yellow pitch. You can name Snatch with this card.
Yeah.
And you can give all of your snatches go again. And then if you end on a fractal replication, for each snatch that you've played, Phantasmal or fractal replication will allow you to draw a card for each snatch that's on the combat chain.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I was looking at this card. I was like, this card is like the most perfect card that you could put in my aggro prism deck. That even I could design for my aggro prism deck. It's just perfect. So yeah, when I saw it, I was very, very glad that this wasn't our preview card because I could not have kept it secret. Like it just physically would not have been able to.
Oh, I'll tell you, man, it was torture knowing about Assassin, like weeks ahead and not being able to talk about it. Yeah. But yeah, when I saw Phantasmal Symbiosis, I immediately thought of Bill. So, yeah,
rightly so.
It's even yellow. It's even yellow.
It's even yellow. Like literally everything about it is just perfect.
Like if it was blue, I think some folks might have said it's better, but I think it's more perfect being yellow, just because it goes into Bill's deck that much better.
For my specific purposes, it's perfect. So thank you, James White.
Yeah,
lovely.
Yeah, so that was my next one. Az, what is your next one?
Cool. My next one is solely based on art.
Ooh.
And that is Iron Song Pride.
Ooh, yes. Okay.
A third warrior card from the Azalea cult leader himself.
Yeah. Like to keep it spicy, but yeah, I just love this card. I mean, I'm not really a warrior player. Maybe I will be in the future because I just love some of these cards, obviously. But yeah, just absolutely love the art here, and Sawyer May as well done one of the other ones, which I think someone has on their list. Maybe maybe the assassin one, because she did that one as well, didn't she?
That one actually is not on my list. So that one is what is it called? It's like Leave No Witnesses.
Leave No Witnesses? Yeah, Leave No Witnesses.
Yes.
I think Leave No Witnesses might be my favorite art in the set for many reasons. For many reasons.
Yeah.
But
silver-haired lady.
Yeah.
So I awesome.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, from a sheer art perspective, I just love Iron Song Pride as well. There's a nice extended art version as well. Not sure if you could be able to see the images right now, but we'll read out the card anyway because it is very good. It was Fluke and Box's spoiler. So for one, it's a warrior instant aura, so you can play this at any time. And it says put a +1 counter on target sword you control. And when Iron Song Pride leaves the arena, remove all +1 counters from swords you control, so similar to other things. And at the beginning of your end phase, if a sword has not hit this turn, you destroy Iron Song Pride. So I've heard that this is pretty good in warrior decks. I'm not sure if anyone else would have a perspective on it, but yeah, I just absolutely love the art on it. That's all really.
I mean, it seems incredibly strong because a lot of folks who have played with Dorinthia or played against Dorinthia know that like just getting that 1 counter on Dawnblade, taking it to a 4 attack is like a really big deal because it forces really difficult breakpoints. And it gets to the point where they can't just block with like a single card. They'll have to block with like multiple things and feed into your reprise. And it's an instant too, so it's kind of like a combat trick. Well, it's not kind of. It literally is a combat trick. So, yeah, it seems really good.
That's
the new card type as well.
Yeah. For warriors, we haven't had a warrior instant thus far, I don't think. But yeah, Iron Song Pride I think is super, super strong because it just feeds into the mind games that warriors were already doing. And like if your opponent does decide to try to play around you and they overblock by like a bunch because they don't want to get blown out by like Iron Song Pride plus Iron Song Response, then it's like you don't have to use either of those. Yeah, you lose a little bit of tempo, but like your opponent has lost a significant amount of tempo where you just get to keep these cards and it's like, okay, I'm just going to arsenal this Iron Song Pride. Or if it's like they block for like just enough, just that extra 1 is all you need because you don't need to do a bunch of damage. You just need to hit at all. So yeah, being able to add 1 damage at instant speed is like actually pretty important for warrior.
Yeah, and it's not even 1 damage; it's 1 permanent counter for So
if you keep hitting, it does compound over the game. You do continue to deal that extra 1 damage. So, really cool.
Yeah, nice one. But...
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
What is your next one, Kel?
Okay, getting back on the assassin train. This one may come, as no surprise to anyone out there who watches my channel. I chose Eradicate. So Eradicate was the card that I previewed, and I'm not choosing it just because it's the card that I previewed, but they gave me the perfect card, and I love this card so much. Everything from the awesome art to this cool assassin lady literally lounging on a pile of dead bodies. Like, This is like it's like one of the goriest cards they've ever done. There's literally
so metal.
So many like dead bodies, just a ton of them, and she's just kind of chilling. It's so good. So what it is, it's a 1-drop, 4 attack, 3 block assassin attack action. It says contract. You are contracted to banish opponent's yellow cards. Whenever you complete this contract, create a silver token. And then it also says, when this hits a hero, banish the top X cards of their deck, where X is the damage dealt by Eradicate. And I mentioned this on Bill's choice, Tiger Swipe. I like cards with X variable in them. And this one is like, oh, this one's so sweet. This is one card that the more that I thought about it and the more that I saw more assassin cards as they got previewed, I'm like, oh no, this is really, really spicy. So in case you didn't know, the way contract works is that as long as the card is on the combat chain, the contract remains open. And you can actually fulfill that contract as many times as you meet those conditions. And I got this officially confirmed by LSS head judge and rules manager Joshua Scott. You can do it multiple times. So for just Eradicate for itself, if you say hit deal 4 damage and then you banish top 4 cards, if they're all yellow, you would create 4 silver. And that like compounds the more assassin attack actions that have contract that are on the combat chain, and they will all trigger. So I think the example that I use is like if you have the yellow, the red, and the blue one on the combat chain, and say you hit 6 cards, like you banish 6 and you get 2 red, 2 yellow, 2 blue, you would get 6 silver because it would trigger each of them. A single card could trigger multiple ones. So if you have the card, the contract card that cares about attack actions, as well as Eradicate, if you hit a yellow attack action, it would trigger both of them. So for me, this is like an awesome finisher, right? It basically asks you, hey, play a couple contract cards. It's going to be tough because none of them have go again. So you have to find ways to give them go again. We might talk about that later in today's video, or in today's podcast. But you want to do that, and then this kind of rewards you for doing that. And also, I don't know how good this is yet, but I see a card that says banish X from the top of their deck, and I'm like, can I mill them out? like legit. I'm like, how big can I make my Eradicate to just mill them out? Especially in Blitz. So I kind of want to build like a turbo mill Eradicate deck in Blitz, where I just try to banish their entire deck. I don't know how good that is, but I really want to do it. So
give it a go.
The best part is it's an option. It's something that you can just try to do because this new class is super exciting.
Yeah.
No, I love it too. Like every single person when this card first got spoiled, by you, of course, they didn't even like look at it from the you can complete multiple contracts thing. It was just you're banishing what? You're banishing how many cards from my deck?
It's
like that's so rude.
It's so sweet. Yeah, and it's one of those. It's kind of like for fulfilling the contract. It's honestly like the middle ground one. Like the 3 majestic ones. One of them cares about red, one of them cares about blue pitch, and one of them cares about yellow. Obviously, yellow is the least played color, but the fact that you banish X and it can fulfill other contracts you have, in my opinion, all 3 of the majestic ones are auto include into any Arachne deck. You just put them all in because they are all so good.
They're all insane.
Yeah, they're all nuts. Like they're all nuts in different ways, right? Yeah, so it's good. It's good. And it also like heavily rewards you for playing big pump attack reactions. Yeah,
like this can get razor reflexed.
It can get razor reflex.
That adds 3 banish.
Yep, razor reflex, the new one, the cut to the chase, which is a 0 for +3 and an additional effect. Oh, it's so spicy. So I like it.
I'm a big fan of that one. My next one kind of plays into it. I was about to say Eradicate is just like such a huge payday if you get it right, because you get so many silvers out of it. But that doesn't really work because there is a card called Payday, and it's the next card I want to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good segue anyway, at least.
It's a fantastic segue. I thought of it while Kel was talking. I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that. Yeah, so Payday is the majestic assassin action. So it's the only majestic outside of adult Arachne and his mask. It's the only like main deck non-attack majestic action for assassin. It was a really roundabout way of telling you what this card was. It's it's an assassin action, blocks for 3, pitches for 3, and costs 0. And it just says if you've completed a contract this turn, create 4 silver tokens. So pretty decent rate for getting silver. You need to have completed a single contract to get 4 additional silver, which is good. So that means like at base, this is leaving you with 5 silver. Yeah, because you need to have completed a contract. But the main reason I wanted to talk about this card is I think it is such a well thought out flavor card. Oh, yeah. Because if you look at the Black Tech Whisperers and the Mask of Perdition, the mechanic that they both have is if this is in your graveyard, at the start of your turn, you can destroy 2 silvers you control. If you do, equip this from your graveyard. Yeah. And the way that I've been thinking about that in my head, and I think the way that it's intended to be thought of, is you're using up your thing, and then at the start of your turn, you're buying a new set of the thing. Like you're like, okay, I'm going to spend my 2 silver, I'm going to buy more boots, I'm going to buy another mask or whatever. Payday is the perfect amount of silver for you to buy your mask and your boots back. It is exactly 4 silver. So if both are in your graveyard, the money that you get from your Payday allows you to buy your new set of equipment.
Or you take your silver to Charcy so she can repair them. No one's gonna get that. No one's gonna.
Isn't that Diablo? That's Diablo.
It's Diablo 2. Charcy's the blacksmith in the rogue encampment.
Yeah, I remember she was next to Gahid. But yeah, so I just think that the fact that there's a card called Payday and you're using the money from your Payday to either buy or maintain your equipment.
So, small story. I'll make it really quick. A couple of years ago, I made custom assassin cards. And out of all the custom assassin cards that I made, I did make a card called Payday. And it does almost the same thing. I think it creates 3 copper. It's just 0, create 3 copper. It was kind of a riff on Read the Runes. But yeah, so I'm a big fan of it for that as well.
Yeah, I'm just a big fan. I'm also a big fan of, it's the only foil majestic assassin card that I currently have. It's the first one that I pulled. So yeah, happy about that too. Nice. Yeah, anyway, that will do it for my 4th one. What is your 4th one that you'd like to talk about today?
4th one for me is one of the only arrows in the set that doesn't care about aim counters. So this is called Heat Seeker.
Ooh, yeah.
So this is a decent arrow. So it costs 1 to play, pitches for red, it's a majestic, so it's only got 3 of these in your deck, or 2 of Blitz. Attacks for 5, blocks for 3, so standard sort of ranger red arrow stats. And it says, when this hits at the beginning of your end phase, put the top card of your deck face up into your arsenal. So pretty sick. In my particular Azalea build, I like cards like Endless Arrow, Snatch, and E-Strike, simply because you can choose on those cards to draw a card, which basically will allow you to then put a card in your arsenal at the end of your turn, even if you don't have anything to use. Because normally you draw up at the end of your turn. So if you don't have a card to put in your arsenal, Endless Arrow becomes the arsenal card. Heat Seeker can then drag one off the top, put it into your arsenal face up, which then gets a name counter if you're using the new bow. Or Snatch just says if it hits, draw a card, which then goes into your arsenal. That's the play lines that I like. So I like to have card advantage play lines in my personal deck. So I think Heat Seeker is a nice arrow that can push damage as well as threaten card advantage when you fire it. So yeah, I just absolutely love that. It's one of the ones that don't care about aim counters, so Lexi can potentially use it as well. I don't know the implications of how she can make it work. Maybe you do, Kel, but
I'm really excited for this card. It to peel back the curtains a little bit. This was actually on my list, and then I was like, I saw it on Az's list. And I'll take it off. Az can talk about it, but I think this is the one card I'm really excited about for Lexi in particular, and this will 100% go in my no fuse Lexi deck. Nice. I mean, like Az says, 1 for 5 arrow that kind of gives you card advantage, but the fact that it puts the cards face up into your arsenal means that if you hit with 2 Heat Seekers, you will get both of them into your arsenal if you have New Horizons, because New Horizons gives you an extra arsenal slot if you have a face-up card in your arsenal. So you could potentially get 2 cards in your arsenal on a really big Lexi turn, and then start the next turn with like a 6-card hand. And if you have like a 3 of a kind or something in the mix, like it could get really, really nuts and really, really sweet. I would also like to note that it's a little bit of a double-edged thing that they get put into face-up. So like for Azalea, for example, since it gets put in face-up, you can't use your Skullbone Cross Wrap to activate to flip it up.
No.
And same for Lexi, you can't use her Hero ability to flip it up. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword kind of thing. But
yeah,
I like it. So that's a great pick.
Yeah.
Super cool card.
Yeah.
Very nice Ranger card advantage.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Big fan of that.
Yeah.
And Kel, you're next up. What is your 4th card?
That's me hopping into my Voltron because the next card. I don't actually know. So I'll be honest. I didn't watch a lot of Voltron. I did watch a lot of Gundam, so I can make more Gundam references. Anyway, construct Nitro Mechanoid. This card is awesome on like all levels. For those of you who saw the preview video, I did help the professor make the preview video for Nitro Mechanoid, and when he showed this to me, I was like, holy crap, they gave you an amazing card. Like, this card's awesome. And then he was like, I don't know what it does. Like, I'm like, yeah, it's also very complicated. He's like, do you know how it works? And I'm like, I think I know how it works.
I think so.
I'm pretty sure I know. I'm pretty sure. So what does it do? How does it work? So Construct Nitro Mechanoid is a yellow pitch mechanologist action construct. It's the first construct. It blocks for 3 and costs 4 to play. And so a construct is very, very similar to like an invocation, like the dragons that Dromai has. It's very, very similar. So it's a double-sided card. So on the first side, it says constructs resolved flipped as an item in the arena. And it says transform target mechanologist head, chest, arms, legs, weapon, and 3 hyperdrivers. So that is 4, that's 8. That's 8 cards. Transform them, you control, into Nitro Mechanoid. If you don't, negate this. And what you do is you put all of them underneath the Nitro Mechanoid. And if you don't, the card immediately goes to your graveyard. And so what do you get after you do all of that? It literally eats up all of your gear. Like it's Voltron. Everything like turns into the mech. So Nitro Mechanoid becomes a mechanologist weapon equipment item with 5 attack and 5 block, but it actually will have 6 attack because the only mechanologist gloves in the entire game was the one released with Dynasty, and it says when it's underneath a card, it gets +1. The card gets +1. So it actually attacks for 6 and not 5. Action, banish a card from under Nitro Mechanoid attack, which means you can attack with it 8 times, right? So 6 times 8 is the total damage you can deal, -1 because the final attack will be banishing the gloves, so the final attack will deal 5 damage instead of 6. It also has Overpower, which is a mechanic we've mentioned before. It says the defending hero can't defend Nitro Mechanoid with more than 1 action card, so it's very hard to defend. And then it has Temper. So every time you block with it, it gets a -1 counter. And when the combat chain closes, if it has 0, destroy it. So you could actually shred this thing and destroy it.
You could.
I was about to say, if you could red shred this and kill it immediately.
Yeah.
Red shred.
But if you don't, it'll block for, I think the math is like around 15, because you'll block for 5 and then block for 4 and then 3 and then 2 and then 1. I think that's 15.
Yeah, I think that's 15.
So
5, 9, 12, 14, 15. Yeah.
Nice. So it's 15, and I think it attacks for a total of 30 something. I don't remember off the top of my head. It's 6 times 8 -1. That's basically what it is.
So 47.
So there you go. 47.
Wow. Okay.
It's a lot. It's a lot of damage. If you can get all of the attacks off.
Yeah, it's sweet. It doesn't have Go Again itself, but you're playing Dash, so you'll probably be boosting and then finishing your combat chain with Nitro Mechanoid for free, basically. It's not an ally, so your opponent can't attack it. It is an item, so they can steal it with Kyloria if you are dumb enough to let Kyloria hit. So I'm just saying, wow. It is an item. It's a weapon equipment item. But it's so cool. It's like, it's Flesh and Blood's mech It's like it's a Gundam or a Voltron or whatever Big O, whatever mech that you want to say it is. That's what it is, and I love it.
I'm going to be building this deck because I want to construct my Nitro Mechanoid.
Yeah,
it's just a cool card.
And it's not legendary. You can run 3 of them in your CC deck too.
So cool. Which would realistically just be for consistency, because after you play the first one, you can't play the other ones. But I mean, having the consistency is important. Being able to actually do the thing that your deck wants to do is really good. Also, side note, I'm pretty sure this is the way that it is. When it's flipped, it doesn't have a cost, right? Like the item itself, it doesn't have.
Oh, that's
like
true.
a resource cost.
It actually does not have a cost. Oh.
So that means it can also be destroyed by smashing good time from.
Oh no! Oh no!
Yeah, it's Kyloria and smashing good time.
Oh no! Oh no!
Yeah,
also, there's more too. There's the brute one too. Was Arg Smash?
Yeah, Arg Smash.
Oh no! Yeah. So be afraid.
Very volatile.
Thankfully, not a lot of those cards actually get played. So
yeah,
other than Kyloria, but I think you can block Kyloria with this card anyway. Yeah. So I think you're probably safe.
Yeah. So
yeah,
it's awesome. It's super cool. And also the art is done by Dash artist Sam Yang. So there's that too.
Mr. Samuel Yang, he's a good pal.
He's a great dude. He will.
Better artist.
A little snippet. He has agreed to come on the podcast at some point, so we will have Sam on Living Legends as a guest to talk about working at LSS and art and everything. And he even told me that this time, because I had a chat with him on the channel like a year or two ago, this time he can speak a lot more freely about stuff. So I think it's going to be really exciting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. That'll be good. That'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then last but certainly not least, I picked the card that I think is maybe going to have the most impact on its specific deck. My final card that I wanted to shed a spotlight on is Berserk. It is the brute action, the majestic brute action. You're wearing a Berserk. Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Big fan. You absolutely knew.
I didn't know, but you gotta,
somewhere deep down.
Yeah, exactly.
So this one, I think that this card is maybe the most I almost want to say transformative. Like it's just such a crazy card for brute. So this is it's not a generic card, but it's a generic brute action. So it can go in any brute deck. Pitches for yellow, so for 2 resources, costs 1, blocks for 3. And it reads, until end of turn, whenever you discard a random card with 6 or more attack, banish it. If you do, reveal the top card of your deck. If it has 6 or more attack, draw a card. So basically, it turns all of your card negative cards in Brute, where it's like, okay, you have to pitch a card to play this, and then you have to discard a card from your hand. It turns them into card neutral. The discard is then replaced by then draw a card, which is fantastic. And it turns all of the cards that make you discard a card and then draw a card if a certain condition is met, which is pulping and wild ride. It turns those into card positive, like a card advantage. You actually gain a card from that interaction. So yeah, I think it itself is like almost a new style of brute deck, where instead of just doing 1 or 2 big things on your turn, you can have like potentially a very wide turn. Attacking with a lot of things that cost 6, or that attack for 6 rather. Yeah, I was talking to Tommy Fresh about it. I'm gonna keep mentioning it because we went over every single card, and him as a brute player, he's like, this card is crazy. This card is absolutely nuts.
I've noticed with this set that they're giving classes that did not have like combo potential. Like this is this is a card that can make it so you have a huge like combo turn, which is
and I certainly don't hate it. I really don't. I think it's trying to bring people up to approximately the same level. Obviously there are classes that I think benefited more from this set than others, but I think each class got at least one really interesting card. which is actually quite nice. I'm a big fan of that.
Ian will 100% kill me with Berserk in the next 2 months. Guaranteed. Guaranteed he's going to kill me with this stupid card. It could be in Levia.
Love it as well.
Could be in KO. But it's going to kill me. And he's going to do like Wild Ride. Like, finish it up. Oh no, Blood Rush Bellows. And I'm just going to die. I'm just going to die.
Yeah, Blood Rush Bellow, Wild Ride, Pulping.
Claw. You're dead.
Oh, it's going to be such a high roll.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see that.
Yeah. So anyway, I love the design of Berserk. I think it's super, super cool.
Interesting to know as well, because I haven't listened to the full. I started listening to it. Obviously, it's a 4-hour marathon. The podcast that you did with Tommy, so it's going to be on multiple commutes over the next week or so. But obviously, this one says whenever you discard a random card with 6 or more power, you banish it. So, as a Levia player, if you banish that card, you then might be able to fetch it again. Is Tommy using this in Levia as well, or not?
I believe so. He was pretty down on a couple of cards from this set for Levia specifically. He hates the card Reincarnate the most. Because it sounds like it would be, like a Shadow Brute thing. It's called Reincarnate. You're bringing something back from the dead. But when it's discarded at random, you put it on the bottom of your deck. It doesn't stay in your graveyard and it doesn't get banished. It's like stone unplayable in Levia.
Oh, brilliant.
Super funny.
Nice.
Yeah. It's a great card.
Yeah.
It's a great card.
But yeah, anyway, so last but not least, what is your final card you'd like to talk about?
Cool. So mine is called Point the Tip. So this is another Ranger card. So I will also go and say that I've covered a lot of the Ranger, all the Ranger cards on the Azalea Cult episode recently with Jim and Justin. So go and check that out when you can. But yeah, Point the Tip was one that we discovered really at the end of the video. Justin didn't know it existed. Obviously, we hadn't seen him because we obviously were at Worlds and quite busy. But yeah, Point the Tip comes in 3 pitch values. It costs nothing to play, so it comes in red, yellow, and blue. And it blocks for 2, standard. And it says target face-up arrow in your arsenal gets +3, 2, or 1, and then you put an aim counter on it, and it has go again. So it's a standard buff for all of your face-up arrows. So cards that you load in faced up with your bow, like Dreadball and all that sort of thing, will be okay. That's fine. But put an aim counter on it. So this is a nice little card if you want to not use the Sandscour Greatbow, but you still want to have arrows that then are enabled by aim counters. So if you still want to use Dreadball or Death Dealer, those bows won't put aim counters on the arrows that care about them, whereas this card will buff all of your arrows, all your existing ones, and all of your new ones that need aim counters to do things. So this allows the Ranger players to lean into the new aim mechanic, but not have to use Sandscour Greatbow in order to do so. Because I'm still a mass. As much as I love the Sandscour Greatbow, and James did say that it is the start of a 2-step process to how the Ranger is going to be in the future. I still do love Dreadball. I love the fact that it sort of evades defense reactions. And if with some of these new cards, we can put aim counters on, like the little mini Command and Conquer. Is it Hemorrhage Ball? The little one that destroys cards. If we can get that into a Dreadball deck where you're evading things even further and you're putting aim counters on things and buffing them and all that sort of thing, I think it could be quite cool. I could be speaking utter jank, but I do like the options that this gives you, and that's what the Crucible and Dynasty and all of the supplementary sets give you, is different ways to look at your favorite heroes, which is what I like.
It's a really interesting card because of how it pumps. It pumps up a card that's already face up in your arsenal, whereas something like Take Aim is just like your next arrow gets +3. It's really flavorful because like in the art, the dude's like hammering out an arrow, right? So like it's in his arsenal, he's like pumping it up. But it also makes it a little more awkward to play. I feel bad for us Ranger players a lot of the time because I'm like, they could have made this an attack reaction, man. Like they could have been a 0 cost +3 attack reaction, and you put an aim counter on it at like attack reaction speed. It still blocks for 2, like most attack reactions, except for assassin ones. We're eating good, but like, it's just like Ranger cards. I'm like, they're always just like so close.
You have to jump through lots of things. Yeah, that's right. We love the pain. That's the reason we're.
Yeah, it's part of it.
Exactly, it's part of the overall experience, But yeah, I can't wait to experiment with that one. So
yeah,
all good.
I do like the fact that it's supplementing the aim counters because there's only realistically 2 ways to put an aim counter on cards, and it's this card and the Great Bow. As far as I know, is there a third one?
I think so. Let me read it real quick.
Blessing of Focus. Blessing of Focus is the third way.
Yes.
But still, for cards that really care about aim counters, you want to have as many available options to put an aim counter on something to get the maximum value out of your arrows. So yeah, the fact that these are like a nimblism plus aim counter, it is a little bit as Cal said, like a little bit clunky because it isn't like a overflex or whatever where it's just the next one. But I think if you are able to leverage it and you do need that effect, like if you're playing long shot or something like that, where it's like if you have the aim counter, it actually does pump it even more. That makes point the tip a 0 for +5 on long shot. Which is like not bad, I'm gonna say. A lot of damage.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, just love the way that will be experimenting with it. All of us people in the pits will be playing with all of these new cards and experimenting with them to try and find the best way possible to break our supreme leader. But yeah,
it's fantastic. I salute you.
Cheers.
And Kel, your last and definitely certainly extra not least.
Yes.
What is your final card?
Yes. Speaking of the pits.
Ooh, baby.
This is actually my favorite card in the set. It might be one of my favorite cards in Flesh and Blood because it reminds me of my favorite card of all time from any card game ever. So I'm talking about Black Tech Whispers, the assassin legendary from Dynasty. So I'll tell you what it is, and I'll tell you what card it reminds me of. And it makes me so excited. I was so stoked to see this. This and Mask of Perdition. Both of them remind me of this card that I'm talking about. But we're going to talk about Black Tech Whispers in particular here. So Black Tech Whispers is a legendary assassin equipment legs. It blocks for 1, or has 1 defense, I guess you could say. While it is in your graveyard at the start of your turn, you may destroy 2 silvers you control. If you do, equip Black Tech Whispers. This is kind of what Bill was talking about earlier, where you can kind of buy it back. It has an attack reaction on it, similar to Snapdragon Scalers, but kind of a little bit worse than Snapdragon Scalers for the attack reaction itself. You destroy it. Target assassin attack action card gains when it hits a hero, it gets Go Again. So it doesn't just get a free Go Again like Snapdragon Scalers. It has to hit. And that's a very big downside. It makes the card a lot more balanced than it would be otherwise. It's not just a free Snapdragon you can keep getting back. It also has Battle Worn, which is great. So you can block with this early and then keep recurring it. Block with it early, use it as an attack reaction, destroy it. You can actually block with this card a lot over the course of a game, especially in CC. Same with the Mask of Perdition. Also has Battle Worn, also has an attack reaction that you can destroy it. And so this is kind of like the missing piece of the puzzle that I was kind of looking for when I saw the Assassin cards to begin with. I was like, okay, we need to find ways to give these cards Go Again so you can have these big turns and have the big finishers like Eradicate. And Black Tech Whispers is a way to do it multiple times. So in a lot of ways, it makes the deck more of a mid-rangey, grindy kind of thing where you can play for the long game. And what this card reminds me of is my favorite card from any card game ever. It's a card called Recurring Nightmare. It's a Magic the Gathering card. And Recurring Nightmare, the
card's crazy.
I love it so much. It's my favorite. It's my favorite card of all time. I played it back in the deck called The Rock, where I played Spirit Mongers. Recurring Nightmare, Pernicious Deeds, Spikes. Actually, I played the Spike Feeders. Were in that deck too, and Spike Weavers too. Anyway, enough of the magic stuff. But what Recurring Nightmare does is it basically lets you sacrifice a creature to get a creature back from your graveyard into play, and then Recurring Nightmare comes back to your hand. And so you can keep doing it, and that's exactly what the Black Tech Whispers and the Master Perdition do. You sacrifice stuff you have in play to get them back, and you can keep doing it as many times as you want, as long as someone doesn't banish this, which could happen. Like Invert Existence could eat this, which is very scary against like Jane. But good thing he's banned good thing he's LL in CC. But for now. So yeah, I love this card. It's one of my favorite cards in Flesh and Blood. Probably will end up being one of my favorite cards in card gaming because it reminds me so much of Recurring Nightmare, and I can actually play it. In Recurring Nightmare, the only format I play in Magic, I can't even play it. So yeah,
Right. Yeah.
I have
cards.
a few.
I mean, card is just too good.
I have a few of them. They're awesome. But that's kind of like the strategy that I really like. I love these recursion engines. In Magic, I'm more of a mono black player than anything else, and I absolutely love it. This card speaks to me. It speaks to me on like a personal level. The fact that I've actually opened up 2 of them so far is very cool. I need to open up a cold foil. I have 2 rainbow foils. I would like to open up a cold foil.
Yeah.
I
I was able to get myself a rainbow foil as well. So I'm pumped about that.
Oh yeah, I love it too. The art is really cool. Like, it's the complete package for me. Easily my favorite card of the set. I'm gonna be playing with this card a lot. So
yeah,
and I like I said, I love to get into the gameplay of it. I do love how they balanced it. So it's not just the strictly better Snapdragon scalers, right? Like, it does have a downside, right? They could block a lot, but you're running cards that help with that. You're running cards like Shred to potentially help with that kind of thing. So yep, Black Tech Whispers is my final card.
Yep, it's a good one to end on.
Yeah, I've agreed with every single card that you guys brought to the table, which, like I was saying before we started, there are so many cool cards in this set. There were so many that we didn't even get a chance to talk about. But I think that just speaks to how well I think LSS is designing things lately. I also have a Soraya.
I was gonna say, like,
this
one just missed the cut. Like, I was like, do I want to talk about Soraya?
Yeah,
it's super cool. Oh,
Soraya was in the first when I mentioned my girlfriend was helping me open packs yesterday. That was in the first pack that she opened.
Ooh,
nice.
Was a rainbow foil Soraya, and she was like, "I think this card's cool." I'm like,
yeah,
you're right.
That's a pretty good one. Hey, is Soraya going into your Prism deck?
I don't think so. I don't really have a consistent way to make spectral shields.
That's fair.
She would be a welcome addition though, because she just does good stuff, and she's a yellow.
Not to mention magic again, but she basically has lifelink, which is kind of hilarious.
Yeah, that's when we actually helped out. Olivia helped us. Olivia Gobert Hicks is a big friend of the channel.
She's awesome
and just a fantastic person.
Absolute legend. Yeah.
Yeah, she's super, super nice. Huge shout out to her for just being fantastic. She helped us with our spoiler video, and we also helped her with hers, and hers was Soraya. So I actually did get to see it early, and I was like, Flesh and Blood has lifelink.
Yeah,
this card actually literally has lifelink.
It's quality.
Yeah, I was super, super pumped for that. Yeah, that was super cool.
That's the first illusionist ally, is that right? The first illusionist ally we've had?
It is.
Or at least angel ally. It just looks awesome.
Which is
massive
kind of
angel
surprising, just considering how heralds are. It just feels like one of them would be an ally, but
well, yeah, I mean, this is Erudition. This is the Herald of Erudition. Like, Soraya is the angel from the Herald of Erudition. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I see.
Someone contacted Soraya.
Instead of instead of because the heralds are like Prism basically creating a memory of these angels. This one is literally Prism is like, hey, can you come help me? And Soraya's like, fine, I guess.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Nice. But yeah, anyway, so that will just about wrap up our discussion for today. Did anybody have anything for the Arsenal step?
Ooh, I don't know.
Unfortunately, I don't believe that I do. Other than I want to open this.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the Arsenal step is going to happen in a moment when we crack this live, which you probably would have already seen. Who knows?
Yeah, the only Arsenal step that I have is I've been so busy with Flesh and Blood and Dynasty that I forgot that the new God of War came out, like God of War Ragnarok, and I was like, oh yeah, I kind of wanted. I kind of wanted to play that. I haven't actually played it yet, but I intend on getting it and playing it because I enjoyed the other one that they did, the sort of reboot, but not actually a reboot because it kind of continues it. I don't know.
Yeah. God of War, the one for the PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
I really liked that one too. It's
boy. Yeah.
That one was a really, really good game. It was just so visually impressive.
Yeah, I've heard.
I didn't even know that they did one either.
Yeah, I've heard that the new one, Ragnarok, is like better. So I'm looking forward to playing it.
That could be worth checking out then.
Yeah. So that's I guess
nice.
what's kind of on my mind outside of Flesh and Blood and card games is if I get time, I want to go play and buy Ragnarok. So yeah,
that's fantastic. I actually have a very short one on the same vein.
Yeah.
I've been playing a lot of the League of Legends card battler Legends of Runeterra,
dude.
Except specifically Path of Champions within Legends of Runeterra.
My man,
have you been playing Path of Champions?
I played a shitload of it. That's the solo mode, right?
Oh.
Yeah, I've played.
Yeah, it's the solo mode that's like it's like Slay the Spire in that it's like a card, like a deck builder.
I play a lot of that.
Downloading.
It's so much fun. It's like it's solo. You build up over time, so it does have like these roguelite elements where you can attach like items to your dudes and stuff. I'll let Bill talk about it more, but I love it. It's so good.
Yeah, that's like exactly right. It's like better than I think it has any right to be.
So good.
I'm not a huge fan of League of Legends anymore. But like as an intellectual property, as like the characters and the lore and stuff, I actually really appreciate it. It's really cool. Like Arcane on Netflix is like maybe one of the best shows that I've seen in the past few years. And it's not because it's a League of Legends show. It just happens to be a League of Legends show that is also just incredibly done. But yeah, for Path of Champions, I've been playing it a ton.
Who's your favorite? Who's your like go-to character?
My favorite hero so far, I really like Illaoi. I also really like
Illaoi?
I've been trying out Jax. And Diana, just because they're like really, really like aggressive heroes.
Diana was my first one that I really went deep on, and she's like almost all maxed out. You can have some.
She's like
crazy
busted
turns.
too. Her 3-star thing where she gets double attack and you can give her overwhelm is just crazy.
Yeah.
It's
and all your dudes basically get +2/+0, and it's like she's only a 2-drop, so you can play her super early and you get those little perks where you like immediately draw her. It's really good.
Yeah. I actually just as of last night beat all of the content in the game. So I've done the current end game content is you have to fight Aurelian Soul, and every single one of the fight nodes is against a champion that has a legendary item.
I haven't got there yet.
Yeah, you have to. It's really like surprisingly hard, but you can get like certain powers on your heroes that just make them like kind of a breeze. I was just able to beat him with the 5th character that I needed, which was Diana actually last night.
So I pulled up.
It was a pretty good feeling.
I pulled up my thing. Diana is the only character I've got to 3 stars. I've got 3-star Diana, but I've also been enjoying Kayn, Yasuo, Annie, and Veigar. I really like Veigar for like the weird darkness, direct damage burn style deck. And Kayn and Diana are my other 2 favorites, I think. Yeah.
No, I haven't gotten a chance to. I don't think I've unlocked Kayn yet, but I've seen him played, and he's like super cool.
Yeah.
The other hero that I'm a huge fan of is Darius, because you can get 2 of. You can actually get up to 3 of this item called the Curator's Gatebreaker, which is on summon, I strike the enemy nexus. So if you get 3 of them, you do at the very minimum 18 damage.
Oh, gross.
It's super funny. It's super cheesy. Big fan. But yeah, anyway, I didn't know that conversation was going to go quite that way. I thought I was just going to be like, I like this game, and you guys be like, oh, good for you, buddy.
Hey man, like everyone that I know is playing Marvel Snap, and I'm over here playing Path of Champions, so I'm with you, man.
Yeah.
So just just for the listeners out there, then, like for me, for instance, listening to that. So, do I have to download Legends of Runeterra, and then it's like a separate game within that app? Is it?
Yes.
Yeah. It's
right. Okay.
It's literally completely free. You unlock everything as you go. It's like Slay the
He's doing
Spire.
it, baby.
Yeah, man.
He's doing it.
You literally don't need any cards to play it. You get them as you play.
Yeah. It's a totally separate thing from Legends of Runeterra. The cool thing is, though, as you're playing it, you do get things for the main game. So like at this point, I have a ton of wild cards and shards and whatever. So if I wanted to play Legends of Runeterra, I could. I don't really have a desire to at this time.
You probably have more than me, Bill, but I have 59,000 shards. So I think
I'm at like 30-ish thousand.
So I could probably build whatever deck I wanted multiple times. I think.
Yeah.
Oh, and I also have many wild cards. I think I have like 13 or something champion wild cards and a crap load of others. Like, but I don't care because all I want to play is the Path of Champions.
One final thing I do want to say as well, just for Az's benefit, and if anybody is listening still and cares about this. But for you got your weekly vault, hell yeah.
It's been a while since I've played.
Something that I think is actually like honestly genuinely surprising about Path of Champions is in terms of like an online game, or like even like it's a mobile app as well. There's a desktop version and there's a mobile app. The microtransactions are so genuinely unintrusive, and they're actually pulled back to the point where the only time you can spend money in the game is to unlock the champions at their base. But to get items, you unlock them by beating things. To level up champions like to 1, 2, or 3 stars, you can't use money. You can't use like the in-game currency. It has to be
fast track it then. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Like you literally have to play the game in order to get to play more of the game.
That's good.
It's very surprising. I would have thought that there would be some type of, you can spend money to level up your characters if you want to, but you like actually seriously cannot. Which is actually like refreshing. It's cool because it's actually telling you like, hey, play the game, like actually play the game.
You can spend money to get like cosmetics, so like a board, little familiar. I have a space dog named Cosmo that I like clicking on, and he flies around. And then
you can get
emotes.
Like cosmetic items.
There's some good emotes. I have the dragon wearing sunglasses who goes like this, and then I have a couple like evil laughs. And I like it's all for my satisfaction because it's the computer, they can't see the emote, but I still do it anyway. So,
it's just to make yourself feel better. But anyway, I believe that will just about wrap up this episode of the Living Legends podcast. Thank you at home so much for hanging out with us. It's always a blast to talk about Flesh and Blood and just things that we're doing in our regular life. We really appreciate your continued support. Once again, just to do the plugs as normal. I am Bill from the Spike Feeders. You can find me on Twitter at BillTSF. I tweet infrequently, but when I do tweet, they are bangers. So definitely feel free to follow me there. You can also find me on YouTube at the Spike Feeders FAB. We are actually I'm supposed to be doing a community post soon. It has been a little bit since we've posted a video. We are kind of retooling how our Goliath Gauntlet series is working. There are just a couple things in it that aren't like super sustainable. So I will be doing sort of a longer form post at some point to sort of get people in the know, but we are not done making videos. We are just trying to sort of revamp things and make them a little bit easier for us and a little bit easier for you guys as well.
Nice.
Sweet.
So yeah, but Spike Feeders Fab, if you want to check us out, we will be doing some exciting stuff very, very soon. And Kel, where can the people find you?
Hello, my name is Kel, also known as Red Zone Rogue. You can find me everywhere at this. I guess if you're an audio listener, you can't see this. It's at Red Zone Rogue, youtube.com/Red Zone Rogue, Twitter, Instagram, which is for some reason growing. I barely post on it, but people keep following me for some reason. I guess my posts are somewhat interesting, so I don't know, maybe. And then like Facebook and stuff. and mostly on YouTube and Twitter, though. If you want to contact me, best way is to probably do it on Twitter. Because if you do it through Instagram, it'll probably be like a week and a half before I see it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
And finally, last but not least, where can the people find you?
Definitely, yeah. So on Twitter, I'm Go Again Gaming AZ. Hopefully, Twitter doesn't die a horrible and painful death. There's been some rumours going around that we're all gonna die on there or something. But yeah, that's where I post my consciousness. I did a funny little meme recently. It was basically me running towards Stephen, who'd nicked my GoPro, and I was just like, is this a new art for plunder run? It looks hilarious. So go and check it out. It was quite a funny picture. And then Go Again Gaming on YouTube. I'm on 928 subscribers, so hopefully we can get to 1K before the end of the year. Oh, baby, indeed.
Yeah.
Probably lose a few as a result of that comment, but hey ho, these things happen.
No. Go
unsubscribe.
Go subscribe to Az. He's awesome. And
yeah, cheers, mate.
Yeah, man. Hey, you have that video of James White saying that keep the faith. Next year, Azalea is the business, and if you want Azalea business, go to Go and Get Gaming. There you go.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
He is the Azalea cult.
Absolutely.
Phenomenal.
With Jim from FAB TCG Cards, I'll shout him out as well. Not your brother Bill, the other Jim.
Yeah.
I actually mentioned that to him the other day. We were talking, and I was like, I think it's really funny when people reference Jim from FAB TCG Cards. They almost have to, if I'm in the conversation, they have to append the from FAB TCG Cards because it's like, oh, Jim said this crazy thing the other day. I'm like, no, he didn't.
Yeah. This Jim is a little bit shorter and bald. And I'm pretty sure your brother is taller and has hair. So yeah,
he is tall and he does have hair. Those are the only two things that I know about him. But
and Canadian. Yeah, there you go. That too.
Yes, that too, of course. But yeah. Anyway, with all that being said, once again, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Thank you both for joining me on this fantastic episode. Always appreciated.
Absolutely.
And yeah, stay well and stay safe. And we will catch you guys in the next episode.
Bye.